Welcome back, everyone. Going into the third hour here of Roleplay Swan Song Week 30.5. Adam, what's up?
Fedora,
Well,
you guys.
you're
Look at that fedora.
Why is it? What? It's why?
Fedora boys.
Because he likes it. And you know what?
Okay,
he can be anything he wants to be,
Yeah.
including a cat, right, Mini-Wheat?
There you go.
So you're given the green light to continue on with the next phase of passing through security. And the next phase of security just involves like going to there's a like a building for scanning and processing where you go. They basically like stamp your passport and then you go through. And I think that when you like this process takes a couple of hours because there's a lot of people and it takes a long time. But it's pretty quick once you actually get to your turn. Like you step up, they just like run a scanner past you, and then obviously if there's like something comes up, they have to like talk to you about it. But because you have the ambassadorial papers, all you really get are like, the scanner goes off, it beeps a bunch of times. And then the guards all look at each other like, well, this guy's a cyborg. Then they look at the papers and they're like, fine.
Damn it.
Yeah, damn it. We can't protect our country from this asshole. But yeah, you get passed through and come out into a large kind of neoclassical looking like building. It's not a lobby, but it's like a huge foyer, like a Grand Central Station style, like marble floor, big like columns. And again, like the day has started and it's warming up a little bit. The air is super clear here. Like the whole colonnade, like that area is opened to the outside. So you can hear traffic outside and it's actually fairly placid for a country or for a planet that's like undergoing a multi-level civil war. Like this place seems okay.
Do we notice or see a lot of sort of military or police presence? Like,
not a lot, but you do notice, like it's not like obvious. The Purity Initiative took over governmentally rather than by like a big military coup. So there's a lot of like officials around. You notice people wearing like a kind of modified sort of kimono. And they all have like retinues and seem to be like busy. And there are several of them like sort of clustered, like talking to each other in various places. But mostly this area is full of like travelers, people coming home or visitors or whatever, meeting up with people from Odinsa. And it seems like every like big like major airport, any of you have ever been in. And from here, I guess as soon as you come out, like a tout or something like comes over to you, and he says, he comes over and it's like just like a kid, but he's dressed like decently, and he says, do you need a taxi, limousine, direction somewhere?
Where the hell are we going?
where are we going?
An embassy?
I
in
turned
order
to
meet this
Higgs.
Wait. Oh, you're out here on. Okay.
I can find you a hotel. There are many beautiful hotels nearby.
guy?
Set up ramps.
You notice he keeps looking at Alfarius, like, and then like, no, business, yeah.
Ice here. Does it have ramps? The hotel?
Do you still have your eye patch on?
I do.
Okay. He.
And I'm in my wheelchair.
He says, ma'am, there will be no trouble at all. We can find somewhere to accommodate you. Suzaka City, and he like gestures. Suzaka City is a beautiful cosmopolitan place. Anything you want, we can find here.
We are only here for a very short time.
If I notice that he's kind of like startled by Alfarius, I kind of jokingly say, "Oh, you worried about my friend there? What about me and my little chair with wheels? Is it scary?"
He kind of looks at you and he says, "No, my grandmother is in a wheelchair."
Yeah.
Well, it's the same
you
thing, lad.
inconsiderate fuck. It's a wheelchair. What the hell are you talking about?
It's the same thing. He needs it to get around just like I do.
He shakes his head. No, no, it is not the same thing. I respectfully disagree.
Well, that's great then. We've settled on something. Let's go ahead and get a ride.
Yes, yeah, this way, please. And he like heads over to the outside where the the various like vehicles are going by. And once you get outside, you can see that you're in downtown of a like pretty large city. You can see large buildings in all directions. It seems like fairly clean. There's not like garbage on the streets. People are coming and going. The vehicles are all you don't see a single wheeled vehicle. They're all hover vehicles here. And when you get outside, the kid like runs over to the street and like waves, and like a black sort of town car like pulls up, and he looks at you, Eric, and says, "Where would you like to go?"
So I still don't know where we're meeting this diplomat. Like I assume that we know where we're meeting him.
You're supposed to get in touch with him.
Crap.
And just tell him, because you're here to pick him up, so you're not really meeting him anywhere. You can say like, meet us at the airport, or we can send a car for you, or we'll pick you up at your home. Like you have a contact number for him.
How about we
yeah.
just go call that number right now before we get in this car?
Sure. Yeah. There's you can do that. There's like a bank of like comms terminals that you can access.
Eric, you should make the call.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. I turn to the kid and say, I'm sorry, we're not ready for a taxi right now.
1 second.
Maybe we'll be back. And I turn around and walk over to the bank of telephones. I pick one up and punch in the number, let it ring.
There's several people on the comms like having conversations in Spanish.
Like as soon as I pick up the line?
No, there's like next to you, like people using the phones.
Got it.
When you walk up to it, you notice above the phones, like on the side of the building, there's a bunch of flags of like different like planets, and then in the middle there's this like huge red flag with like a white circle, like not a dot but like a kind of O, like a unbroken circle, flapping overhead. You recognize some of them. There's like a Hovaden flag and like a Majidi flag and stuff. And
there's nothing strange about the arrangement of flags. Like it's not like.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Like I think I let it ring once, and then I hang up, and then I pick it up again, and I punch in the same number, and then I let it ring twice, and I almost hang it up, and then I sort of stop myself and put it back to my ear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you call, eventually.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So it rings a couple of times, and a woman picks up, and she greets you in Japanese, you think?
Hello. I'm sorry. I don't speak that language. Do you speak space English?
Ah, yes. I am sorry. I speak English. You have reached the Exemplar's office. How may I help you?
Yes. My name is Eric Fretheim. I am a diplomat from Strophios. No. I'm from Sigrid. I'm sorry. I am supposed to meet the Exemplar, Mr. DeSoto? Is it Mrs.? Is Lauren a woman?
Lauren's a dude. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm supposed to meet Mr. DeSoto and escort him to Strophios.
Ah, you are the transit service.
Affiliated with them, yes.
I understand. And when will you be picking up the Exemplar?
Whenever is most convenient for him. We can be there.
Excuse me,
shortly.
One moment. And she like puts you on hold. And there's a short pause. And she comes back and she says, Exemplar de Soto would like to meet with you and your crew. You were invited to his estate. Very
well.
We have a contact number for you here. We will send you the address. Please
Yes.
be prompt.
Thank you. Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Fredheim. And she hangs up.
Yeah. Okay. I turn around, like sweat's like dripping down my face. I wipe my forehead off. Well, I think that went very well. Mr. Higgins, you should be receiving a communication from Mr. DeSoto's office about where we should be meeting him.
Higgs, your phone goes ping.
I immediately just look up into the sky.
What the fuck was that noise?
Yeah, I open my phone or whatever the phones do. Do the phones
Yeah.
flip? What do they do?
Hell no, they don't flip.
They're not
No,
flip
I-
phones?
It's projected off your anklet, your eye anklet.
Yeah, it'd be like a semi-holographic display. Like you'd hold up your wrist and it would show you the like. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I do that.
It's sci-fi looking. Okay. Yeah. So it's you've got a list of your comms. You get some emails and stuff, and then yeah, there is one from the office of Exemplar DeSoto, and it's it's an invitation for dinner this evening. The Exemplar is having something of like a social gathering before he leaves for Strophios, and you can pick him up there.
Okay, it's a text, I assume, right? You said?
Yeah, just in text.
All right, I text you back, C space U space colon space big D.
Okay.
And then put then at the end because I forgot that when I spelled it. And then I'm just like, well, we got a dinner date. Then I guess we go get a car. Do we need a hotel?
Not if you plan on leaving tonight.
We're leaving tonight, boys. We don't need a hotel.
Okay.
How long do we have till then, Adam?
Couple hours.
Well, I don't have anything to do, so if we want to, I guess I just tell the crew like we can just kill some time.
Sure.
Alfarius tries to downplay, by the way, his augmentation. So like,
Yeah. How are you dressed, Alfarius?
well, normally it's like a kind of
Yeah,
a
like
new
bodysuit.
agey bodysuit type of thing. Instead, it's like, I think Sicarian probably left behind some pretty plain ass fucking clothes, so he just kind of puts that on, and then he didn't have sunglasses, so he just kind of asked to borrow some from somebody.
Okay.
I assume Eric has all the sunglasses, so he just
There's a
kinda-
pair of sunglasses. Nobody knows who they belong to, but someone found them on the ship. One of them, they're like gold plastic. One of them's like a big star, and the other one's a heart.
So he wears those, and he has his, like I said, his beard and hair deactivated.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, like, is there anything we can do in the intervening hours to help complete the illusion that we're legit? Like, is there somewhere that Eric
Can
could
we
read up
do we have
on?
like earrings like Gem where we can just like do it and create holograms that make it appear like we are legit and no one will question us? You know,
like maybe
that
Eric
seems-
goes and like finds a textbook from a nearby university on diplomatic relations with Strophios or something like that. I don't know. And like if we go to like a tailor and we get like matching uniforms made for the entire crew, like
You certainly have time to do like a thing like that.
yeah. Like I guess I proposed that to Higgs. I said, Mr. Higgins, would it help us appear like a more legitimate organization if we had matching uniforms?
I'm not wearing a uniform, Eric.
Okay.
If you want a uniform and you can convince these other two to wear it, I don't know where you're going to find a uniform for a wheelchair, though.
Alfarius, Piani, would it help us seem like a more legitimate organization if we all wore uniforms? I'm thinking, nice suits.
I don't understand why that would help.
Oh, well,
I-
if you're a famous diplomat from a country and you're hiring a crew to fly you off planet, maybe you want to see that they are high class like you.
I have to say, Eric, I think it's a fucking brilliant idea. We wear the same outfit. We look like a definitely more respectable ship. Like we're not just a cargo freighter hauling shit around. It makes
you, Piani.
sense.
He kind of nods and says, Nina amini hini wazo nizuri.
Hey, your Swahili's getting good, Jeff.
Thank you.
I didn't
I
catch
agree.
you. What'd you say? I didn't. What?
Oh, you said, what did he say?
What'd you say?
Looks at you and says, I said I thought that was a good idea.
Okay.
So why don't we get some uniforms?
All right, hear me out. I've got this all denim suit. It looks great on me.
I just turn to the boy and I say, we need to find a reasonable tailor to make suits for us four. Do you know of somewhere?
Yes, of course.
Can you get us there very quickly?
And he turns and says an address to the
Eric was
driver.
like, fuck your denim suit, man.
And he nods and he's like, yes, the driver will take you there immediately.
Thank you very much. I guess like I don't know, is there some sort of like pay pass system where I can just like
Yes,
transfer
yeah,
him
totally.
like 50 credits or whatever? Whatever the appropriate amount is, you know, I tip.
That's up to you, man.
As
That's
everyone
right.
kind of disregards Higgins, Afarius looks at him and says, like, to be fair, I thought it was a great idea. He like looks really confused and just walks out of the fucking room.
Awesome. Yeah, okay. So, you know, we get in the taxi. I hope that he does actually take us where we need to go and on a reasonable time scale, rather than to a concentration camp.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the driver, is quiet. It's less a cab and more like a car service, so it's like quiet and air conditioned, and he drives you through the city, past all these like big buildings and into a smaller part of town with narrower streets and more like sort of boutique-y like shops and cafes. And he pulls up outside like a clothier, and he says, "This is it."
Thank you very much. How much is the cab ride?
So there's a display, and you can just pay him.
Are we all there? Or is it
Okay.
just him?
Yeah,
It's all
I
of
assumed
us, I think.
everybody went in the
Yeah,
car.
that's all of us.
Is there a way we can like contact his company for another car when we need to leave this place or
Yeah,
whatever?
he'll give you his like call.
Cool. We, you know, exchange that. We head inside, or
Okay.
I do certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So inside it looks like a custom like clothing shop. Like there's a bunch of like finished outfits in a mix of like Japanese and kind of more like neutral like exchange business styles. In both men and women's sort of fashions, and then nearer to the back, there's just like big bolts of cloth standing up and sort of like pieces being worked on. And when you come in, the little like bell rings, and the owner comes over to talk to you. So what's the plan here? What do you want?
Well, I mean, I imagine that I would want to dress in like a full three-piece suit in order to like pull off the image of a diplomat. And then my recommendation is that the others wear some sort of similarly like high-class suit style uniform, where it's like they're not wearing literally a uniform, but they're all dressed in the same style and whatever.
Okay. And this is something that you want to impart to the. Is fashion something that Eric like knows or cares about?
No, not really. Like, I think he sort of like steps foot into the store, and then he realizes how out of depth he is, and then he just sort of looks to Higgins, and he goes, ah. And then he turns to Piani. He says, Miss Peak, I don't know much about fashion for diplomats. Do you know anything about it?
You asking me this because I'm a girl?
Alfarius, I don't know much about fashion for diplomats.
Alfarius is like looking through clothes, kind of looks at you. He's in this like acting normal attitude. He's like, kind of looks at you a little bit, says, "Yes, absolutely."
Okay. And I say, could you recommend something for us that would complete the illusion?
Kind of looks around. Is there other people here?
Just the tailor, like this, it's like an older guy. He's Japanese.
Yeah. He comes over to you and says, "Let's do this."
Okay, so you're gonna take charge, Alfarius, and help the guy tailor up some custom clothes for all y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody make a business or a haggling roll or whatever, something like that.
Who has the
Man,
best
normally
business?
I'd turn to Mr. Sakarian for this, but
Higgs can do it. Higgs has a business.
Do I?
I think so, don't you?
No.
I got a 0 in business.
That's higher
Okay.
than mine. I got -1.
All right.
It's business.
I'll do it.
It's business time.
2d6, right?
Yeah, 2d6 plus whatever. I guess it's 0 in this case.
What,
with your
what
charisma,
status?
if you have a charisma bonus.
My only
God
bonus
it's not
dexterity.
Yeah, thank God it's not you.
Got a solid 5 here, boys.
Okay, so you can't get a deal. You're making custom clothes. You're making them quickly. Let's say it is be like 750 credits a person.
Okay.
But you have like fancy clothes for use later.
Yeah.
Okay, and unless anybody like exhibits any kind of like specific, the guy tries to like tailor the clothes to fit the people he's making them for. So, like they're a mix of like there's a sort of Japanese influence style to them, but they're quite formal. And when you all get dressed up, you actually look pretty sharp. Like you would pass for like upper class members of Onitzen society.
Can I while he's fitting me, can I just ask to pay an extra $250 and increase the quality of my suit commensurately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like, no, make mine fancier than theirs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. Yeah, so they dress all y'all up for the ball. Basically, y'all look good. Yeah, have we ever seen like any of these characters in like formal wear before? Because Piani, you're in a cool dress.
in a wheelchair with a fucking eye patch. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do you have
look
like
like
a,
a
do you have
like
a
a
fashion
Bond
eye patch?
villainess.
What?
Yeah. Do you have
I
a
saw-
fashion eye patch?
No.
What? I call the guy over. I say, is there something you can do for my friend's eye?
It's fine. Unless it's like, a actual pirate's patch. Not
something,
anything fancy.
something pirate themed, maybe.
No, just a fucking patch, like a black patch.
Yeah, it's just like a black, like you only have one eye, and we are covering that up patch.
The designer comes over, looks you up and down, says, "Yes, I think we do."
I mean, we've definitely never seen Eric dressed up in anything other than like his work coveralls or whatever. So
Yeah.
he cuts a trim figure. He's actually a pretty built guy, and he fills out his suit well. He's broad-shouldered, narrow-waisted. His hair is still a little scraggly, but maybe do they have like changing rooms where he can like take a shower or something? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I shower and whatever. Put my suit on.
Okay.
My beard's all like fluffed
How
out.
do you feel about this, Higgs? You don't have your denim suit. You look it's weird. You're wearing weird foreigner clothes.
Yeah, I just make fun of it the entire time. if Higgs doesn't understand something or doesn't get it right off the bat, he just shits on it constantly.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we can I guess cut to you arriving at the, unless you have something else you want to do. Do you want to cut to you arriving at the
I think I look really
dinner?
nice, but I'm still wearing those glasses,
Cool. Yeah.
and I'm bald as shit too. But yeah, I look good.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we just arrive.
Okay. All right. So the car service takes you out there, and it's an estate like just outside of town, so it takes about an hour to drive out there. And when you arrive, like you pull up, and there's it's on a hill overlooking a lake. And there's a bunch of like olive trees, like an olive grove around the outside. There's no like obvious wall, but there's a place where you go from being on a public road to being on a private road. And the car pulls up, and his house is like a mansion. It's like a 2-story kind of sprawling mansion with like a fountain out front. Yeah, he pulls up. There's a whole bunch of really expensive looking, like basically hover sports cars, like just around that are parked out here. Yeah, and he pulls up, and the car service, like the guy like looks around and is kind of like, oh, impressive, and lets you out. And tells you to, call him if you need to.
No grav tanks, though, right, Adam? That's somewhere deep where you keep it.
I mean, this guy definitely doesn't have a tank.
Nobody has tanks, Adam.
No, there are people with tanks. There's lots of people with tanks.
Yeah, just everybody else.
Just not here. Not here.
Could have had one.
You're so close. All right. So you get out, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
When your
Okay.
role players aren't role playing.
You're at the party. What do you want to do?
I guess like, I would have like 1 drink maximum, but like try to keep like a glass of champagne in my hand or whatever. And Eric's very awkward, so he's just kind of standing there feeling awkward. But do we know what this guy looks like? Is it obvious who's
he
like
owns
holding
the house?
Yeah, it's obvious who he is.
So you get here, and the whole house like takes advantage of the fact that there's a view and that the weather here is so placid. Like it's all kind of open, so when you walk in, you can see pretty much the whole like main area of the house. There's like an area off to the side where like the bedrooms and stuff is, but there's a huge like open room with like a piano. There's people dressed nicely, all kind of like mingling around, but it looks like they've all moved outside for the most part. And there seems to be something going on, because occasionally you hear like cheering, not like raucous cheering, but like polite like clapping and that from somewhere outside in the back.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
High society dogfight.
But the guy isn't anywhere obviously in sight at the moment.
No.
Okay.
No. I think that a servant, like a butler or something, like takes your coats.
Yeah.
And then welcomes you.
Cool. Awesome. Like I'm curious about the cheering, so I would probably, like, after getting a glass of champagne, I would awkwardly shoulder my way through the crowd, which is much shorter than I am, and head back towards the room where the cheering's coming from.
Okay. Yeah, so you go outside, and there's like a porch or whatever, like an area that's outside with some more tables. There's some food, laid out on the tables out here, and then a long kind of winding staircase that goes down to like the backyard that like overlooks the lake. And you can see from here a little like area has been set aside where there's some bleachers, basically like some graded seating, and then there's 2 guys who they're like stripped to the waist, wearing like wide pants, holding like wooden swords that seem to be like fighting, and there's like a crowd watching them. There's like a kendo match going on.
Awesome.
And occasionally they'll like clash together, and then the like referee guy will like wave a flag, and everyone will like politely like clap, and that's the noise you were hearing before.
Eric's totally interested. He's very curious. He starts like shouldering up and pushing his way into the crowd in order to get a better view.
Okay, what's everybody else doing once you arrive?
Trying to fit in.
Exactly the same.
Okay.
He's like in the corner, perhaps or perhaps not holding someone's interest, talking to them about his organic farm.
Okay, awesome.
Are there any foods like specific to this region? I think that's what Piani would be interested in.
Totally, yeah. Like the kind of food that like there's servers like going around like offering food to people, and like it's the kind of food that like just looking at it, it's like you can tell it's super expensive. Like each individual thing.
And they're like coming over with platters.
Yeah, like there's like tapas and like
Yeah, right.
individual
So, like,
pieces of like nigiri that are probably worth like 100 credits a piece.
so Peony is totally the one who like grabs a napkin and then
Nice.
puts like
One,
just
yeah, better
like
take
puts
4.
her hand on and like slides 6 or 7 onto this napkin. Oh,
Mhm.
is there a plate anywhere?
You just like ask a server that.
Yeah.
The server uncomfortably looks at you and kind of like is like, it's finger food.
Well, then just give me a couple more napkins. It'll be fine.
And then yeah,
Put them right there on my lap.
yeah, she runs off to like the kitchen and comes back and like gives you a napkin and you just pile your food there.
I realize I've got like napkins on my lap and like all this food in my hands, holding it with 2 hands. So I just
I think before she leaves to continue like giving people food, the server says, would you like me to have the kitchen make you something more substantial?
I love things I've never eaten before. So bring me something you can only get here.
Yes. And she kind of like goes away to go and make that happen for you.
Awesome.
Do we see our mark at all?
Yeah, if you're with Eric, you can see him. He's in the like bleachers, basically, like up front, watching, and you can tell because he's like, even though everyone's paying attention to the fight, they're like, something will happen, and then people near him will look at him, and then when he starts clapping, everybody else is like, it's time to clap. Yes,
Okay.
this was a good thing. And when he gets mad about something, then people are just like, that was a shame that happened. So he's the center of attention, even though there's like literally a fight going on in front of him.
What, are there other fighters?
Yeah, there's a group of about 6 guys, like 6 kenjutsu practitioners, they're rotating and like taking turns. It's an exhibition like match, basically. They're just showing off to entertain the guests.
Would it be completely against the culture if I asked one of the kendo fighters if I could fight in their place? Like, would that be frowned upon?
Probably.
All right,
yeah.
never mind. I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
it.
It would be. I mean, they wouldn't let you, but it would be a bit like if you went to like I don't know, like a Mets game, and we're like, can I just like bat a few? Can I just get up there and just hit a few
Gotcha.
dingers?
Gotcha.
They'd be like, no, we're doing a thing. Please go sit down.
Gotcha. I'm not doing it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do it. I'll just wait till. I guess I fit in, and I keep my eye on Eric to make sure that he's always at eye line of mine.
Good call. Okay.
I'll just wait.
Enraptured, like admiring this fight, and probably like he's sort of clapping and like crestfallen at awkward moments compared with the rest of the crowd,
Sure,
because
you're
he's
on
just
the
going
way.
purely by what he's seeing and not, the other guy.
I think
Not
about
just
this
so-
time, in the background, then you see Alfarius throw his drink on the ground and say "fuck," and he just walks off.
Okay. All
He's
right.
really nervous, so he's actually just going through all his voices.
Okay. So you get a closer look, Higgs and Eric, as you get closer to DeSoto. So he's wearing like a white linen suit, but he's got the shirt unbuttoned like down to his sternum, and he has his shirt sleeves rolled up. He looks to be in his like early to mid 50s. He's Spanish. Looks like he's a pretty decent tan, like he spends a lot of time outside or like has an artificial tan. He's got black hair that's starting to go gray at the temples, and he has a drink that is sometimes in his hand and sometimes next to him, but he doesn't seem to be drinking it much because he's very focused on this game that's going on. He's wearing a like very bright gold watch that keeps reflecting the sun, and you notice that he's got a tattoo on his, I guess, right forearm of a series of black lines, but it's hard to see from here any more detail.
It's a QR code.
That's not a good. Yeah, and so he's just like kind of leaned in on. He's on the edge of the like bench he's sitting on, and he's like watching the game. And when you get closer, you notice that he's got his pant legs rolled up too, and he's not wearing any shoes. So he just has bare feet on the grass. So do you want to try to approach him? Do you want to wait for like the matches to be over?
Me or Eric?
Anybody.
Well, I think Eric would be the one to do that.
Eric's enraptured. He's not going to do anything until the match is over. But I guess like if it gets to the point where the match ends and nobody's still approached DeSoto, then I guess I'd sort of like look around and contemplate like taking some food, but then realize it's time to man up. So I'd sort of stroll around and try to get into like whatever receiving line is trying to make conversation with him. I suppose there is one.
Sure. Yeah, I think he like the match finishes and everybody claps and he gets up and the like kendo like the whole team like comes out and they like bow to him and he bows to them. Everybody cheers and claps again. They leave or they go to like pack up and he turns and starts talking to this woman that was sitting next to him and he's obviously like being very charming and she's laughing a bunch and stuff and then as you walk up, he notices you and he excuses himself from her and he stands up.
Yeah.
And he walks over towards you.
I say, Mr. DeSoto, I presume.
He looks you up and down, and he puts out his hand. And you notice now he's wearing like he's got a wedding ring on.
Yeah. I shake his hand, give it a firm shake. I say,
sure.
That was really amazing. Very different from our customs on Sigrid, but clearly there is a similar element.
He looks at you as if trying to remember where he knows you from. And he says, yes, the match was quite good tonight.
Is it something you do often? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Eric Fretheim. I'm from Sigrid, here to, well, at your request.
He shakes his head and he's like, you have me at a disadvantage, Mr. Fredheim. I do not remember calling anyone here from Sigrid.
Oh, you and I have common business on Strophios, I think.
He grins and smiles, more in relief than in pleasure, and he says, yes, I remember now. I did not know, and he like looks at you. I was expecting someone smaller, perhaps.
Oh, well, it's easier to find someone smaller than me.
Yes, I think that might be true. Are you? And he like turns to like look at the kendo guys like putting their stuff away. He's like, are you a pugilist, Eric?
Oh, well, I'm more of a mind for statecraft than for physical combat. I do like machinery, though.
Is that so? I have several very old, very expensive cars I cannot get to run. Perhaps you could help me with them sometime. And he like claps you on the shoulder.
Oh, where are they? Can you show me? Are they... How old are they?
He puts his hands up and he's like, Eric, stay calm. There will be time for this later.
Oh.
I was just making conversation.
Oh, I understand. If you need my help, I would be more than happy to take a look.
He says, I will remember that. This is very kind of you.
Mr. DeSoto, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to take too much of your time. I see that you have a lot of guests to entertain, but myself and the crew who have escorted me here will be ready to speak with you whenever you would care.
He says, we can speak now if you prefer.
Oh.
And he kind of like looks around. He's like, the rest of your crew, where are they?
Oh, I thought I saw. One of them is in a wheelchair, and I think I saw her going to the kitchen. The hired muscle, I saw him throw his drink on the ground. He's not very cultured. And the captain of the ship. Oh, do I see Higgs anywhere nearby?
I don't know, Higgs. When we see Eric's view as he looks around for you, what does he find?
He probably sees me going like this, pointing
Like,
back
to
at his
him?
house. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, and the man making finger points at me is Mr. Higgins.
How about this? And he like looks around. He's like, I have to have several short, unpleasant conversations, but when that's done, I will meet you upstairs. There's a room down the hallway, and he gives you like directions. I says, "This is my study. I will meet you there in 15 minutes."
Oh, okay, yes. I'll see you then.
Good.
Yeah, I just sort of like, maybe I'm gonna say something, but then bite it back, and then I just turn and stroll away,
Okay.
kind of stiffly.
All right. So you want to go and round everybody up?
Yeah, I guess I'll try to find Alfarius, because I think he's gonna be the easiest to locate, and then Piane sort of like check the kitchen if she's there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I just collect everybody into the study upstairs, following the directions.
All right. So his study is it's less like a study and more like a room to go and smoke cigars in. It's got several like large, expensive-looking pieces of furniture. There is a perfunctory like a bookshelf with old, expensive-looking books, but there's a humidor like nearby, and it's got like a glass top, and you can see all these like cigars in it, and above it on the wall in a case. There's an incredibly ornate like gold and like wood like a musket or like rifle, like a flintlock, and then like a saber, and they're like up in this like sealed like glass case on the wall. So you're in there waiting for him, so you have a chance to talk if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just update the crew on, this guy's gonna come meet us here. He seems, eager to get away from his boring social obligations. And, maybe we can convince him to leave early.
All right.
I mean, like, there's nothing around in this room that would tell me more about him that I could use to, like, discuss. Like, I go examine this saber and this musket. Is there more information about them that I can gather from looking at them? Let me look at what kind of skills I have.
Yeah.
I have post-tech, but not pre-tech.
I mean, like Higgs, you can know just by looking around, like basically the value of all the stuff in this place. Like you've smuggled things like this, or sold or bought stuff like this. Yeah, the cigars are super expensive. There's a bunch of like brandy, like bottles of brandy on a bar at the side that would all be incredibly expensive to purchase.
Sure.
Yeah, the guy has expensive taste. It's hard to know where he got the money or got this stuff from, but I guess if you're an exemplar, you get paid.
Right. Yeah, you can see I'm like on edge because I'm trying not to touch all that stuff, but I really just want to steal it all.
Totally.
What?
But I'm not going to. And I think we're just waiting.
Okay. So sorry, Eric, you had a question for me?
I was just like, if there's anything here that's obvious that I could like use to make small talk with DeSoto once he comes in, then that's what I was trying to sort of like get at. But I guess like the musket and rifle were probably
You can make
the
a
most
perception. You
obvious.
can make a perception check. With wisdom if you want.
Okay. Do I have perception? Probably not. Okay, well, I do have wisdom, so. Oh god, here comes another 3, boys. What? No, 5. Instant result. Okay. No, I got nothing.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, he has a gun and a sword and a bunch of other expensive looking stuff. Then everything in here smells like sort of like of the cigar smoke. Like there's a very like rich sort of pungent smell coming from the like wood of the furniture.
Yeah.
And after a few minutes of you all kind of like waiting nervously there, the door clicks open, And you all get the close look that Eric has had at Lauren DeSoto. He's still barefoot. He's carrying his like white like blazer over his shoulder. And Piani, you see the tattoo on his arm, and I need you to make an intelligence test, and you can take a +2.
Okay.
Yep.
So intelligence 0 and 2, 6.
Okay, you recognize what it is, but not which one. It's a hexagram from the I Ching, which is like a Chinese. It's the Mandarins use it to like make predictions about how things are going to like change. There's a series of hexagrams in it that each mean different things, but you don't recognize which one it is because they're all basically just like lines broken up in various places.
So, what would that tell me about this person that I would know if I saw this tattoo on a person?
It would really depend on which hexagram it is, because they all mean various things. They're not. You can't tell just by looking at them what they represent.
But but overall, like someone who has this tattoo, I would be concerned about, or
Not necessarily. Like having an I Ching tattoo just might mean that they have the particular hexagrams meaning like something like they care deeply about or whatever. Either he's like a tourist and got a tattoo in like Majid sometime a long time ago and doesn't know what it means, or he could like actually like speak. Or sorry, yeah, it's a Mandarin tattoo. So yeah, like, or he speaks Mandarin and like is culturally like aware of all that stuff.
And how far is this guy from me?
Not far. Like maybe like I mean, he just came in the room, so you're in the room too. So no further than a couple of meters.
Maybe I'd wheel over to him.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So you roll over to him. And he,
It's a little awkward because I have a lap full of food. Still waiting for my plate.
Okay. So he sees Eric and smiles at Eric, and then kind of like looks around and politely smiles at everybody else in the room. And then you're the first one to move, so you start rolling towards him.
Yeah.
And he puts his hand out, and he's like, "I'm Exemplar de Soto." But I suppose you knew that already. I'm pleased to meet you, Miss
Pick. It's my pleasure. It's all mine.
Yeah, and gives you like a firm handshake.
Yeah. And I'm just enjoying this great food, but I couldn't help but notice the hexagram you've got.
He kind of like looks at it.
I'm from Majid myself, and I'm just curious about it. I don't quite recognize it, but it looks like one I should know.
He nods and he kind of laughs a bit like sort of at himself, like he's kind of chuckling. And he looks at it and says, "Yes, I spent some time on Majid in my youth, studying philosophy there. I studied the I Ching, and I suppose, as you do when you're young, believe very strongly in it. It represents rebirth, change through violence. I thought at the time it was quite cool." And he kind of like laughs again and like self-consciously like starts rolling his sleeves down, not like awkwardly, but he's like, "Okay, we're not going to talk about this anymore," and like buttons his cuffs.
I think Piani responds with, "Did you learn about the philosophy of keeping people as slaves, basically making them unable to get out of the situations that they are because they're big giant corporations and they're forced to mind their people all the fucking time? Did you learn about that on Majid?"
And he stops and like looks at you again as if now he's like taking you seriously. Like before it was like just polite conversation. He looks at you and he's like, "You are unexpectedly political for a courier service."
"Not always, but when it comes to my home country, I am."
There are many things wrong with the planet you are from. I mean, no offense, but
That shit's fucked.
yeah, exactly.
None
But,
taken. Just seeing if you understand the plight of the people at Majid.
Yes, my government understands the plight of many people in this sector. There are a lot of very, very strong things that need to be changed. We hope to make those changes. Part of my meetings on Strophios are to discuss this very thing. Which is why, of course, and he like leans back and like takes the rim in again. I am so thankful to have you all here to take me safely to this place.
Of course, let me introduce you to the rest of the crew.
And he gestures like, please, yeah, please do.
Who do you want to meet first? The captain? Our host?
He,
The other crew member?
whoever you are, whatever you're from. Yeah, I mean, he's looking. The only people he doesn't know now is Higgs and
Who's closest to me?
Alfarius.
Who's closest to me?
Well,
Probably
Higgs has his back turned to the rest of the
Is
group.
Higgs like just staring at the gun and sword?
No, he just has his back turned towards the cigars and the drinks. The brandies.
Right.
Or he's got. That's what he's facing. Sorry, with his back turned towards the group.
So then who's the closest to me, even if it's Higgs with this back turn?
Alfarius, I guess.
Who's the
I'm
second
like trying to
closest
look
me?
at
Who's not Alfarius? then just Higgs, obviously.
Where's Eric?
He's already met Eric. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, of course. Yeah, Higgs. My bad.
So do
course.
you like say my name?
I now want you to meet Captain Higgs. Higgs, I see you over there with your back turned. Fucking show us some respect. I did. Higgs.
I turn around and I've got the cigar like right up to my nose and I.
Mr. DeSoto's here. Thought you might want to meet him.
And he laughs when he sees you're like holding one of his cigars.
Yeah.
And he's like, you are an aficionado as well.
No, I've never smelled anything like this, sir.
He takes a step towards you and he says, just they're becoming more and more difficult to find. It's a local custom. They're harvested from tobacco fields out in mountain villages. You have heard of the strife this planet has had of late?
Nope.
He shakes his head. Yes, I suppose a small planet like Oninsa is not well known to one such as yourself, Captain Higgs. You must see many such places as this.
Well, I guess, yeah. Hey, can I smoke this?
He laughs. He says, I would be honored if you wanted to do that. Just let me. And he like goes to like take it from you and like cut it and light it and stuff for you.
Yeah, I'm very interested in what he's doing the entire time.
Okay. Yeah.
Higgs has never smoked a cigar before.
Yeah, and he very like distinctly like it's ritualistic for him. Like he takes his time and takes the cigar and cuts it and like explains to you like where it comes from, and you get the impression that he's like the way that he's talking about this, like he talks about the like place they're from and how it's like, oh, it's a tragedy that we can't just like have these. They used to. I remember when I was younger, you could buy these for 2 credits at roadside stalls, but now they've all but disappeared, and all of the strife in the sector and like all this stuff, and he's just like kind of pouring it on thick, and he lights it for you from a like wooden match, yeah, there's I don't know if Higgs would be the type to like respond positively to a cigar, but it's a super fucking expensive handmade like hand rolled cigar.
With that in mind, knowing that it's an expensive cigar, Higgs is totally about it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know how to smoke it, so the first time he probably inhales the entire thing.
Yeah, and DeSoto watches you do that, like he's waiting for you, and then he like laughs and makes it like, I played a joke on you. Like, let me tell you how to do that, and then he like, smokes them. And the two of you just like, he just talks about like smoking cigars.
Yeah.
And then realizes after a few minutes, like he stops and turns and looks at Alfarius and it's like, I'm so sorry I did not notice you there and was so caught up in all of this And he like puts his hand out. He's like, I'm Lauren DeSoto.
Alfarius is like fidgeting at like a like something on the wall or something, like pretending to be very interested. He's like,
Yeah.
looks at you, his jaw clenches, walks over, reaches his hand out, and says, "It is nice to meet you. My name is Alfarius."
He looks at your hand, and you have like he can he tell that your hands are cybernetic?
Yeah,
You have-
probably. Yeah.
All right, so he like looks at it and looks at you, and just kind of like lets his hand drop, and then turns to Eric and is like, I think that we should leave soon.
I agree. I am sorry. It is the best we could do on short notice.
He
Alfarius still holding his hand out.
yeah, he shakes his head and he says, this is an interesting choice. I understand that they have use as security, as weapons, but not in my house. Not here. And he like shakes his head and he's like, I have to go and get changed. And he just like walks out of the room.
Alfarius lets his hand drop, and then you can just see his like where his eyebrows would be over the. Actually, I think he like kind of stands there for a second, looks around at everyone, and then his mohawk turns on, and it's like gigantic, and then it turns back off.
Your angry eyebrows go.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Does he leave
Okay.
the room completely?
Yeah.
I steal some cigars.
You're like, these are amazing. Handful.
Yeah. Maybe I'm like trying to give it to Piani to put into her napkins or to put inside the food or something. Smuggle it out that way.
Sure. Okay. All right. So, while I guess where do you go? Do you just like hang out in the room for him to come back, or do you go outside? Do you call
he
a
didn't
call?
tell us to meet us anywhere. Or
No,
anything
he
like
just
that,
wanted to get
so-
out of the room. He was like, I'm gonna go change.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, yeah, I don't think Eric is actually socially aware enough to be like, hey, like, can we meet you outside at a car or anything like that? So Eric wouldn't recommend any particular course of action at this point.
Okay. All right. So, I guess after a while, somebody comes to the door. It's not him. It's a Japanese guy who looks like he spends most of his time working out. Like he's like huge arms, like a big dude. And he's wearing armored, like an armored undersuit, and then a like a suit over top of it. He says to, I guess, anyone. He says into the room. He's like, the Exemplar is ready to go.
Oh, okay. Can you lead us to him?
Just nods and gestures, and he takes you outside, to the front of the house. And the Exemplar is there. He's on his phone, like he's having a conversation in Spanish with somebody on the phone, and he's got a couple of bags next to him. And
I mean, like, I guess we, punch in the number for our cab service or whatever, and can we assume that we set it up ahead of time that someone would be there like right away when we needed them? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, totally.
Yep. So yeah, I don't really interrupt him or anything like that. I guess we're all just waiting quietly next to him.
I keep my space, obviously.
Okay.
Is the big guy getting in the car with us as well?
Yeah. You'll have to have like a limo.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So yeah, the limo shows up, and the big guy like checks it first. Like he walks around, looks underneath, checks the inside, nods to the boss. The Exemplar gets in. The big guy like takes his bags, puts them in the car. He gets in, and then the rest of you can get in.
Great.
Cool.
Okay.
Get in.
And are we headed towards the port? right?
If that's what you tell the driver.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. So you head off towards the port where the Swan Song is waiting.
Yeah. All right. Is this a good time for a break?
It is indeed.
Cool stuff. Let's take our fourth and final break here on Roleplay Swan Song Week 30.5. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. More roleplay coming up right after this. We'll see you then.